Chosen one, before you keep scrolling, let me ask you something. Have you noticed how certain rooms in your life have started to feel too small lately? Not because anything is wrong with them, but because you have quietly outgrown them. The way you feel is not in your head. As I prayed early this morning, I saw something that finally made sense. Heaven is already getting ready to move you from a stage you're no longer interested in to one you were always meant to be in. This is not a figure of speech for comfort. There is a real change, and it starts as soon as you decide to stay and listen. At that very moment, I saw the moving trucks of heaven lined up outside your spiritual home. As angels packed boxes, jobs were being moved around, and coordinates were being recalculated, I heard the calm, sure voice of the Father say, "Tell my chosen one to get ready to move. They are not where I need them to be, where they have been. What they already know is not what I have planned. The address is going to change. Changes in the weather." The moving order was signed in front of me. There were 7 moves on the list. 7 changes, old things into new ones. 7 changes to get from where you were to where you're going. Your name was at the top of the list. Stay with me, because if you leave before all 7 are shown, you will only get part of the picture. And going from not understanding to understanding makes the transition harder. How do you feel now? It's like they can't calm down. A feeling that something is coming to an end. Somewhere you don't quite feel like you belong, even in places that used to feel like home. There is no depression in that. That's not being rude. That's your spirit figuring out that something is already moving. Inside you, you know things that your daily life hasn't caught up to yet. Type, if that makes you feel any better, I'm ready to move. Everything I have covered across this channel is now in one place. The prayers, the teachings, the daily blessings, it is all inside the Daily Miracle Manual. Link in the description. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site. You are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today, join our community, and see what God brings back into your life. Before we go any further, I just want to say one thing quickly, so it doesn't get in the way of the rest of the message. Do you care about words like these? This channel keeps making them because some people choose to support it in the background. Anyone who wants to help keep it going can click on the link that is pinned in the comments. Not at all, I just wanted you to know it's there. Let's go on. Now, ask the Spirit to show you the 7 divine moves that are happening in your life. The first is from not having enough to having plenty. Heaven has been keeping a different kind of record than your bank statement. It has been keeping track of every quiet act of faith you did. You always gave when it was hard. Every time you blessed someone else while you were having a hard time. It was all seen and heard. You've lived in scarcity for way too long. And the first move is a change in financial address, from barely making ends meet to really enough. This is made clear in Philippians 4:7-19. My God will give you everything you need based on how great He is in Christ Jesus, not in light of your current situation. In the coming days, keep an eye out for proof, an opportunity you didn't go after, or help that comes from nowhere you expected. This could be a sign that your financial season is starting to change. I want you to think about this move for one more second, because lack isn't always just about numbers in a bank account. Because of it, a person always calculates, always braces, and always picks the smaller portion out of habit, even when there is more available. If you can see that pattern in yourself, this moving isn't just about what comes from the outside. It has to do with permission too. Allowing people to stop working from a place of not having enough, even before all the evidence comes together. You don't have to wait for the money in your account to change before stopping worrying about it. Most of the time, the first sign that the old address no longer holds you is that you feel calm. The second move is from being turned down to being accepted. You may have been turned down by family and friends who should have been happy for you, by doors that should have opened, for so long that it began to feel like home. It's just an old address though, and addresses can change. Jesus talked about this right away. He was turned down so that you would never have to carry that by yourself. Watch out for a welcome you didn't expect in the days to come. You finally feel like you belong somewhere you didn't think you would, like a door that opens on its own. Rejection teaches people to shrink ahead of time, to soften their opinions, to quiet their needs, and to get ready for disappointment before it even happens. All of this is done to lessen the pain, if it does happen. If that sounds like you, pay attention to how tired you are from bracing all the time. As you move, you'll have to learn how to fill up all the space in rooms where you used to feel small. Acceptance is more than just people finally welcoming you. You're also finally letting yourself fully in, without the old apology in your voice. The third move is from being confused to being clear. If you've ever felt like you couldn't make decisions, or that every path looked the same, that's not where you were meant to live until you decide to move on. God is not the author of chaos. He is the author of peace. 1 Corinthians 14:3-3. Keep an eye out for the time soon when something you've been wrestling with makes sense. When something that seemed impossible to decide becomes easy. There is often a lot of noise, too many opinions, too much comparison, and not enough quiet. If you've been having trouble getting clear, you might want to be honest about how much silence you've been giving yourself lately. Not often does clarity shout over chaos. It usually comes slowly, during quiet times that most people rush by. A few minutes without your phone, a walk with no place to go, and the quiet of the morning before the day starts. You might have to be more still during this move than you do to put in more effort. The fourth move has to do with your body, going from being sick to being healthy. If the pain is getting old, and you've quietly come to terms with being sick, that wasn't meant to last either. I am the Lord who heals you, says Exodus 15:26 in the present tense. Watch out for small changes in the days to come. You feel like your body is starting to get stronger again as your energy returns and your symptoms get better. Moving doesn't mean that all of your physical problems will go away overnight. Also, that would not be an honest thing to say. What it does ask is that you pay more attention to your body's signals instead of ignoring them, which is something you may have learned to do out of necessity. Rest is also a part of this move. It's also better to ask for help when something doesn't feel right than to handle it alone. In this way, health is about more than just getting better symptoms. It's also about how you treat yourself going forward. The fifth move is from being alone to being connected. It's not who you were meant to be to feel alone, even in a crowded room, and unseen, even in relationships. Two are better than one, because if one falls, the other can help them get back up. Find this in Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. Keep an eye out for a connection coming your way soon. Someone who gets you without you having to say a lot. Someone who makes you feel at home. People who feel alone often think that reaching out will be a burden for others. That's why they stop reaching out altogether, and this makes the loneliness worse. If that's how things have always been, this move might start with a small, awkward step. Sending the message you've been hesitant to send and saying yes to the invitation you almost turned down out of habit. Connection doesn't always come fully formed. Usually, it starts with a small thing, like letting someone back in. The sixth goes from being obscure to being clear. There will be times when people notice your gifts and care about you again. If you felt ignored for too long, that time will end. The complete guide, every daily prayer, every spiritual tool. Everything I've put together to help you grow your faith is down in the description. It's called the Daily Miracle Manual. Now, stay right here with me, because as this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. Matthew 5:14-15 tells us that a light shouldn't be hidden under a bowl. Keep an eye out for a chance that will put you in touch with the right people. Respect that comes to you without you having to work for it. It's not always what people don't see that makes someone obscure. Sometimes it's how much they've learned to hide by lowering their voice, playing down their skills, and remaining quiet in places where they could be useful. If that sounds like something you've heard before, it's because part of moving is letting people see you before you're fully ready. This is because readiness and visibility rarely come together in the order that people expect. The seventh move is from delay to destiny. It is the one that holds all the others. Things are getting faster in your life if it has felt like they were taking longer than they should. The Bible verses Jeremiah 29:11 make it clear. I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, to give you hope and a future. Not one day. At this point in time, you are being moved from almost there to there. People learn to doubt quietly when they are delayed. They start to think that maybe the thing they hoped for was never meant to be for them at all. If you started to think that about a certain thing in your life, this move is a chance to think again about that belief. A longer timeline does not mean that the outcome will not happen. It took a long time for some of the most important things in a person's life to happen, but they were still important when they did. All 7 changes, from lack to plenty, from rejection to acceptance, from confusion to clarity, from illness to health, from isolation to connection, from darkness to light, and from delay to destiny, have already begun. But let me give you a fair warning. In the coming days, it's normal to want to go back to what you know, even if it wasn't good for you in the first place. Because you know them so well, scarcity, isolation, and delay can make you feel strangely safe. That pull does not mean the move is not real. It's just old comfort trying to stay put. Take note of it and keep walking. This pull back to the familiar is often stronger than people think. So I want to spend a little more time here. It doesn't happen very often as a big setback. It shows up in little ways. A familiar worry comes back just as things are getting better. When you finally set a boundary in a relationship, an old pattern comes back to the surface. A wave of doubt, just as things are beginning to become clear. It doesn't mean the move failed if any of those things happen in the next few weeks. Most of the time, it means you are right on the line between the old and new addresses. Of course, that edge is uncomfortable. A lot of people who make big changes in their lives go through this kind of in-between stage before things get back to normal. Let's all take a moment to relax. Let your shoulders fall a little wherever you are right now. Let out your breath more slowly than you took it in. Today is not the day to solve everything. It's not necessary for you to finish all 7 moves by tonight. It takes time for this kind of change to happen, even when it's talked about all at once, like it has been today. Please allow yourself to go slowly through this. Besides that, I want to be honest about the parts of this that you might find harder to believe. If you are going through something really hard with your health, the movement around your body might feel far away. Moving your finances around might seem like a long way off if nothing has changed in your life in months. The difference between what is said, and what is true at the moment is not proof that this was not for you. It just means you need to be patient at this point in the process. The quiet part that happens before it can be seen. Almost every big change in a person's life has a time when they are working hard and having hope. But the outside world hasn't caught up yet. Take a moment to think about which of the 7 moves felt most like it happened to you. The one that did something to your chest, made your eyes hurt, or made you hold your breath. That's usually a sign of how close you are to a real shift, not how far away you are. Most of the time, the things that make us feel the most are also the ones that are changing the fastest. Even if we don't think so yet, type, I know which one is mine. Besides the 7 things that stood out to you more than the others, I also want to give you a few honest signs that you have moved to a new address and not just briefly stopped by before going back to the old one. One sign is that something that used to make you panic now makes you more worried. The worry is still there, but it's not as strong. You may also act differently than you used to, which is another sign. You are staying calm when you used to lose it, speaking up when you used to be quiet, and taking a break when you used to have pushed through. Just this is a third sign. Some people who know you well will notice that something is different about you, but they won't say what it is. These aren't very important markers. They are quiet, but you can count on them. I also want to talk about the difference between being in a good mood for a short time and moving. An upbeat mood can last until the evening, when it starts to fade again. A real move is more likely to stay steady even on bad days, because it's not based on a single moment of positivity. The thing it's resting on has actually moved underneath. Today you might be feeling encouraged, but you should still be ready for it to go away by tomorrow. Wait a while. Real changes don't always show up all at once. They tend to happen over time. One more thing I want to be honest about. It's likely that some of the 7 moves will happen faster than others. Often, things become clearer before money changes hands, or a new relationship starts before a long period of being alone ends. The fact that it's not level doesn't mean something is wrong. Nobody grows at the same rate in every part of their life at the same time. Let each area have its own schedule and don't compare them to each other. I want to talk about patience now, because people often mistake patience for passivity during times like these, as just hanging out and hoping. There's more to real patience than that. Being there for your life while you wait seems like a good idea. Taking small steps, even though you're not sure if they are working or not. It looks like you're taking care of your body before you feel fully better. Taking care of a relationship before it feels completely safe. Save even before you're sure you can afford it. Having patience and taking small, steady steps forward is much more likely to work than just waiting. Say this out loud, Father, if you want to make it official for the rest of your life. I understand the relocations you talked about with me. I'm going from lacking to having plenty. Acceptance after being turned down. From being confused to being clear. From being sick to being well. From being alone to being connected. From being obscure to being clear. And from waiting to fate. I'm moving out of the old addresses. Thanks for staying with me after you found me. Amen, in the name of Jesus. If you like this word, it will help someone else who needs it. Someone in your life may have been stuck for a long time and doesn't know that they can make a change like this. Sending this to them today could be just what they need. If you want to get more messages like this, you can subscribe. That way, you won't miss the next one when it comes out. One more thing before I leave you. Moving, as we've talked about it today, doesn't usually happen all at once. Most of the time, it's a series of small, quiet choices made over time. Picking rest over being tired, being honest over old habits, and believing that something better is possible, even though there isn't enough proof yet. Take this home if you take nothing else from today. There's no need for you to know everything right now. The only thing you need to do is be ready to take the next little step. That willingness is often the only thing that separates people who stay at the old address from those who move to the new one. If you get this word, type relocation complete in the area below. I want to take a little more time with you on something before we end. Something you can sit with instead of just hearing. Loosen up a bit in your seat, no matter where you are at the moment. There's no need to hurry. Slowly take a breath in, hold it for a second, and then slowly let it out. Thought about the 7 moves we talked about today as you do that. You don't have to remember everything. Let the one that made you feel the most alive come back to the surface for a moment. That one might have been about your body and some stress you haven't been naming. Maybe the one about connection and a certain face was the one that came to mind. Whatever it was, don't try to fix it or make plans around it right away. Just let it sit there for a second. In some cases, the first step is just recognizing where you are. More than any plan or strategy could be. I want to be honest about what happens after a message like this one ends. Because that's often when the real work starts in the background. This is a moment when it's easy to feel something, like a flicker of hope or a loosening in the chest. But after an hour of going about your normal life, that flicker will fade. The fact that the message faded doesn't mean it wasn't real. It just means that feelings, even important ones, aren't meant to last on their own. For choices to stick around, they need to be small and made over and over again. You can choose to rest instead of pushing through exhaustion one more time, to reach out instead of staying alone one more time, and to speak up instead of staying quiet one more time. If today's message asked you to do something specific, like deal with a guilt that has been bothering you, stop being so hard on yourself. Or think about a change you have been putting off. Know that you don't have to do that today. You are free to just notice it. Take some time to think about it and come back to it when you're ready. If you want the full guide with every prayer and lesson I've compiled for this community, check the description for the Daily Miracle Manual. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the word daily and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall, share your heart, and as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit Out Community now, join the family, and see your heavens open. There are shifts that don't all happen in the same video. Things take weeks. Some people need more time. That's not defeat. Real change just moves in that direction. Also, I want to gently address the idea that some of what was said today might have been hard to fully believe, especially if you felt stuck for a long time. That doubt makes sense, and you don't need to argue against it. You don't have to believe everything today for a small change to happen. It's sometimes enough to just keep the door open, even if it's only a little, to the idea that things might look different than they have for a while. Try to picture what it would be like to be on the other side of even one of these moves. In one area of your life, things are finally feeling lighter than they are now. Think about it honestly. Not in a general, vague way, but in detail. What would be different in your daily life if that one thing changed? Who do you want to tell first? For good, what would you no longer have to worry about? Instead of rushing past the thought like you usually do, give yourself a moment to really think about it. Type, "I can picture it." If a picture came to mind right now, you came into this today with old addresses, lack of resources, rejection, confusion, illness, being alone, not knowing what to do, and delay. You're leaving with new directions, not because of some magical event, but because you're finally ready to leave the old place. Have a nice trip, have faith and go. You should expect things to change soon. Just before you leave, I want to say something nice. It's a good sign if these words gave you even a little peace today. This channel's only goal is to keep giving people moments like this one when they need them. It will only keep going with quiet help from people like you. There is a link in the comments below that you can click on whenever you want to help it to keep going. There's no need or pressure to do anything, and you don't have to. You should only go back to it when you feel ready. Being here today and choosing to stay and listen means a lot more than you know. Yes, before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment, a place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step, your abundance awaits.